Welcome to the Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent-to-rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nicky Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello. It's Stephanie here. Welcome. It's episode 43 of Ask the Angels, where I answer your rent-to-rent questions. And today we're talking about social media and should you have it for your rent-to-rent business. Before I dive in on that, Spotify has something new, y'all. You now can leave a 5-star rating for the Rent to Rent Success podcast if you listen on Spotify. We've got 10 so far, so you could be the 11th. Just click the 3 dots on the show page, and when you click them, you'll see a few options, and one of them is Rate Show. So click that, give us 5 stars. We'd love it, and I'll let you know next week or next Ask the Angels if we've got up. Thank you so much, guys. And if you're not listening on Spotify right now and you'd like to do that, you can go to renttorentssuccess.com/Spotify and it'll take you right to our podcast on Spotify. So today I have a question from Aisha, and Aisha's question is, what should my social media strategy be for my rent-to-rent HMO business? Now, that's such a good question, isn't it? Because social media can be a very powerful tool in business. Social media is a great way to do one of the things which I always say, which is tell everyone what you do. However, I do need to say, and this might be controversial, but it's not where you should focus for your first deal. Now, the reason I say that is that when you put up a new Facebook page or a new Instagram account for your property business, very few people will see it to begin with. Therefore, at the start, I want you to focus on the strategies that will bring you deals. I want you to focus on the 20% of actions that deliver 80% of the results. And that is going direct to landlords and going direct to letting agents. It usually is one of those two that you will get your first deal. And why I'm laboring this point so much is what I often see people doing is they're spending too much time on social media because they tell themselves they're moving forward, they're doing something. They're writing this Facebook post or Instagram post instead of calling an agent or writing to a landlord or going on the portals and contacting landlords and agents that way. What I want you to do as you're setting up your business, when you might be nervous or a little bit anxious or have a little bit of self-doubt, it's normal at the beginning trying something new to have those negative feelings or those feelings, okay? Let's not label them. But what I want you to do is keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is talking directly to landlords and to letting agents, okay? Finding a property is your goal. Speaking directly to landlords and agents will get you there the fastest. Now, you might be sort of shouting at your phone here and saying, but what are you saying, that social media is not helpful? I noticed that you've got a channel, Steph. You've got a page. We do have a page for HMO Heaven. I'm not saying it's not helpful. I'm just saying it's not your number one priority, especially at the start. Do you know what got us that traction right at the beginning was I started posting on my page about going for viewings, sending out our letters, the before and afters as we began to take the properties on. And lots of my friends and family were messaging me saying, oh, didn't know you were doing property, Steph. Oh, you're not in banking anymore, and so on, and taking an interest. And they would have been able to refer me on to other people. So it is useful. I'm not saying it's not useful, but it's not where you should focus your efforts and energies at the beginning, especially if you're hiding from the actual tasks that will move you forward. So how should you approach social media for your new rent-to-rent HMO business? So I class it as in 2 steps. And step 1 is post on your personal profile on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn about your property journey. Now, if you're already posting on your profile about your personal life or other things that are going on, you can just interweave in that posts about property so that people, your friends and family, and the people you're connected to can see what you're doing. I'm often surprised when people have nothing at all about property on their Facebook, even though they post on Facebook regularly. So if you're already posting on Facebook or on Instagram or on LinkedIn, just start adding in your property posts. And then the next thing people say is, oh, but what do I post about? You can post about attending property events, learning about good property management, what you've noticed about good property design. You can post about sending out your letters, going on viewings. You can post about the service you offer. And don't forget to post personally about your life. And I know that when I say that, people get very upset and think, oh, I don't want everyone to know very personal things about me. And obviously, you can just share what you feel like sharing. So you might just talk about how walking, you do a lot of thinking about your business while you're on your walk with your dog, and maybe a picture of your dog. So it's just whatever lets people see who you are, what kind of person you are. And you just do it at the level of comfort that feels right for you. So that is enough for most people at the start. I did not set up an HMO Heaven Facebook page, as I said at the start. And to be honest, we don't use our Facebook page much now. It doesn't get a lot of reach, and we could put ads on there or so on to find landlords. We choose not to do that. Our property leads tend to come through landlords, through agent and other people we know, and not via Facebook. But I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is make sure that before you start doing it, you're prioritizing your time on the tactics that really work first. So, a note on names. Now, I'm bringing this up because what I notice is that people are coming to me on Facebook with their personal profile, with their company name, and this perplexes me so much. So what I mean here is, say, for example, if I, on my personal profile on Facebook, change my name from Stephanie Taylor to HMO Heaven. Now, so somebody's changed their name on their personal profile from, say, Sapna to XYZ Property Company. But I'm much more likely to look at Sapna's post than I am to look at a post from XYZ Property Company. And a lot of people agree with me. Let me just give you one example. I'm sure there are many. Richard Branson, for example, has 4.6 million Instagram followers. Virgin has 227,000. So many, many, many more people want to follow Richard Branson than want to follow one of his companies, Virgin. And I think you'll find the same. You'll get a lot more engagement when you post under your own name. You can still post about your business, especially if you can do it in a storytelling way. People love stories. So that's step 1. And that's enough to get you started, to get you out there, to get you focused in the right place. So yes, absolutely. Tell your story on your social media, but don't take your eye off the ball of the actions that are moving you forward as well. Step 2, later on, or you might have enough time at the beginning, you might feel strongly that you want to do it right from the start. But yeah, absolutely, create a property page on the social media platform you prefer. I find that landlords are on all of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So in order to post regularly, it's good to choose a platform. Maybe you already have a platform that you're already on, or maybe you have a VA who can help you to post on the platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn are the main ones. You may have other ones. So this page will be shown to people much less frequently than your personal page, but yet it can help to grow your brand, and you can on your personal page tag in your company page. So I could do posts on my Stephanie Taylor account, tagging in my HMO Heaven account. So what do you want to post about? You can post about your values and your ethical approach to things. You can post your stories about good property management. Obviously, you can post about the service you provide to landlords. And even better, if you can tell stories about landlords you've been working with, obviously keeping them confidential unless they've given permission. You can do posts about why letting agents also benefit from working with you, posts about housemates and the service. You can do posts about your life personally, as I said before, and just give people a little taste of who you are. What books are you reading? What podcasts do you listen to? Things like that people would be interested in, to give them a bigger picture. So it's not just property. It's on the social media, it is social. So even on the business channel, it's nice to show the fullness of your business. So it's not always business talk. Another thing I want to just point out to you, mind your language. Use language that your customers will use. So most landlords will not be talking about rent to rent, neither will your friends and family. So it's better to talk about house shares or HMOs. Landlords would understand about HMOs if they've got HMOs. But the message you want to get across is that you offer something that few people do, or certainly few people offer the service to the standard, right? Especially for Kickstarters, you know that you have something special. So you want to focus on that. Guaranteed rent, freedom from tenant management, total peace of mind. And for your housemates, beautiful, affordable homes, an exceptional service. So these are the messages that you want to get across, and obviously the values of your business as well. I just want to say a note, another area, business cards and letters. Now, I know that people are so keen to put their social media on their business cards and their letters that they send out to landlords, but I say not. The reason is when people receive a business card from you or letters from you, you want them to do one of two things. You want them to call you or email you. I prefer them to call because usually it's more they need an action now when they call rather than email. So having them visit your fledgling new business Facebook page with only your mum and auntie liking it, it's not going to build your credibility. So why include it? The only exception to this is if you already do have a professional property focused social media channel, which would attract landlords or agents. But even then, I think the fewer call to actions, the fewer next steps you give somebody from any communication, the more powerful it is, the more likely they are to take the next step. If you say the next step is to call me and find out how much guaranteed rent I can offer you, and you don't offer any other alternatives, there's not a go to my website, there's not a go to my Facebook page with 2 people on it, there's not a go to my Instagram with 4 people on it, you've got one call to action in your letter. Very powerful. So yes, Aisha, absolutely, social media is useful. And no, you shouldn't invest most of your time on it, especially in the beginning. The way you invest your time today will determine what you have tomorrow. And the fastest way to property cash flow in this business is by speaking directly to landlords and agents. Make sure you're doing that first before spending hours, days, and weeks posting on social media. Okay, I think I got the message across there. But let me know if you've got any questions. So if you're in the Rent to Rent Kickstarter mentorship program, we have all the resources about this and also other alternative ways of finding properties in M4.5. That's module 4.5. And if you're in the Rent to Rent Superstars with us, that's our membership program after you've completed Kickstarters. Our very next Superstars training session, we have Lisa Barry, a social media strategist, coming in to talk to us about exactly how to post in a compelling way. that is likely to engage people and deliver you more customers. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you're a beginner and you'd like to learn more about the 6-step rent-to-rent success system and get your free Rent-to-Rent Success Guide and Masterclass, go to renttoRentsuccess.com/guide, GUIDE. And if you'd like to have your question answered on this podcast, go to renttoRentsuccess.com/ask and you can record a question there for me to answer here. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on rent to rent. You can find it at renttoRentsuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rentsuccess.com/book. And I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.